1994, Jeff Bezos told his boss at one of Wall Street's most powerful hedge funds that he was quitting to sell books on the internet. His boss told him to think about it over the weekend. Bezos had already made up his mind. He drove across the country with his wife, MacKenzie, while she typed the Amazon business plan in the passenger seat. He called his parents from the road and asked for $300,000. They wired their retirement savings without hesitation. They had no idea if they'd ever see it again. 7 years later, Amazon's stock crashed 95%. Analysts called it Amazon.toast. His parents' $300,000 was worth $30 million on paper one day, and almost nothing the next. Bezos never considered shutting it down. Today the $300,000 is worth over $30 billion. Jeff Bezos was not a garage inventor. He was not a college dropout. He was not someone who had nothing to lose. He was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 1964. His mother was 17 when she had him. His biological father left when Bezos was 3. His mother remarried a Cuban immigrant named Miguel Bezos, a man who had arrived in America at 16 with nothing, put himself through college, and became a petroleum engineer. Jeff took his stepfather's last name. He graduated from Princeton with degrees in electrical engineering and computer science. Summa cum laude. Phi Beta Kappa. He turned down offers from Intel and Bell Labs and went to Wall Street instead, eventually landing at D. Shaw, one of the most sophisticated quantitative hedge fund in the world. By 30 he was the youngest senior vice president in the firm's history. He was making millions. He had a clear path to making hundreds of millions more. He walked away from all of it because he read a statistic that changed everything. Internet usage was growing at 2,300% per year. He made a list of 20 products he could sell online. Books 1. Infinite selection, low price point, easy to ship. He called it the everything store, starting with books until he could sell everything. His boss at D. Shaw told him the idea was good but the timing was wrong. Bezos had a framework for that kind of decision. He called it the regret minimization framework, imagining himself at 80 looking back, asking which choice he would regret more. Staying on Wall Street or trying Amazon. He quit the next day. Bezos and MacKenzie drove from New York to Bellevue, Washington in the summer of 1994. He incorporated Amazon in the car. They set up the first office in their garage, 3 Sun Microsystems workstations, an extension cord running from the house, and a bell that rang every time someone placed an order. The bell rang so often in the first few weeks they had to turn it off. Amazon launched publicly in July 1995. In the first 30 days they sold books to customers in 50 states and 45 countries without a single dollar spent on advertising. Bezos and his small team packed orders on their knees on the garage floor. He told an early employee, "We need to get knee pads." The employee said they needed packing tables. Bezos thought that was the better idea. In 1995, Amazon made $511,000 in revenue. In 1996, that number hit $15.7 million. In 1997, it hit $147 million. Amazon went public in May 1997, at $18 per share. By 1999, the stock hit $113. Bezos was on the cover of Time magazine as Person of the Year. Amazon was the fastest company in history to reach $1 billion in sales. Everyone assumed the growth would continue forever. It didn't. 2000. The dot-com bubble burst. Every internet company that had been valued on promise rather than profit collapsed simultaneously. Pets.com, gone. Webvan, gone. Kozmo.com, gone. Over $5 trillion in market value evaporated from the stock market in 2 years. Amazon was not immune. The stock fell from $113 in 1999, to $5.51 by October 2001. A 95% collapse. Ravi Surya, a Lehman Brothers analyst, published a report stating Amazon had 18 months of cash remaining and no viable path to profitability. He called the bonds worthless. The report went everywhere. Wall Street started calling it Amazon.toast. Business schools added Amazon to their curriculum, as a cautionary tale. 2 former Amazon executives wrote internal memos predicting bankruptcy. Suppliers tightened credit terms. Investors filed lawsuits. Bezos held an all-hands meeting. Employees expected a crisis speech. He told them simply, "The stock is not the company. The company is the company. Focus on the customer and the stock will take care of itself." Then he laid off 1,300 employees and restructured the entire operation. While every analyst was writing Amazon's obituary, Bezos was making decisions that made no sense to anyone watching from the outside. 2002. Amazon Web Services launched its first product, a storage and computing infrastructure that other companies could rent. The idea was that Amazon had built massive computing infrastructure for its own operations and could sell the excess capacity to other businesses. His own board questioned the logic. Amazon was a bookstore fighting for survival. Why was it building a cloud computing platform? Because Bezos wasn't building a bookstore. He was building infrastructure. 2005. Amazon Prime launched. $79 per year for unlimited 2-day shipping. Every financial model said it would lose money indefinitely. Bezos launched it anyway. The internal team calculated that Amazon would lose billions. Bezos believed, if you made shipping fast enough and cheap enough, customers would buy everything from Amazon instead of going anywhere else. He was right. Prime members spent 4 times more than non-Prime members within 3 years. 2007. Amazon launched the Kindle. The publishing industry laughed. A retailer building a hardware device to sell digital books that would cannibalize its own physical book sales made no financial sense. Bezos didn't care about the financial model. He cared about owning the customer relationship. Each decision looked wrong from the outside. Each one was building something the outside couldn't see yet. Amazon's growth came with a cost that its own warehouses absorbed. Between 2012 and 2018, investigative reports from journalists, embedded inside Amazon fulfillment centers described working conditions that included timed bathroom breaks, ambulances stationed outside warehouses during summer heat, and workers afraid to slow down because productivity algorithms tracked every movement. In one Pennsylvania warehouse in 2011, workers collapsed from heat exhaustion while an ambulance waited outside rather than management calling to slow the line. In 2018, Amazon raised its minimum wage to $15 per hour after sustained public pressure including criticism from Senator Bernie Sanders. The same month Amazon quietly eliminated monthly bonuses and stock grants for warehouse workers, effectively reducing total compensation for many employees while the headline number went up. The company, worth $2 trillion, paid zero federal income tax in 2017 and 2018 on billions in profit, legally, through a combination of tax credits, stock options, and deductions that its own lobbyists had spent years building into the tax code. Bezos became the richest man on earth in 2017. His warehouse workers qualified for food stamps in 17 states. Amazon Web Services, the cloud platform his own board questioned in 2002, became the most profitable division in Amazon's history. By 2023, AWS generated $90 billion in annual revenue and accounted for over 70% of Amazon's total operating profit. Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud exist because AWS proved the market was real. Amazon built the cloud computing industry the same way Gates built the software industry, by seeing the infrastructure play before anyone else did. Amazon acquired Whole Foods for $13.7 billion in 2017, entering physical retail, the industry everyone said the internet had killed. Launched same-day delivery. Launched Amazon Go stores with no checkout lines. Launched a pharmaceutical business. A healthcare business. A satellite internet business. The everything store became everything. In 2021, Bezos stepped down as CEO. Amazon was worth $1.7 trillion the day he left. Today it sits at $2 trillion. The stock that fell to $5.51 in 2001 trades above $180 today. Ravi Surya, the Lehman Brothers analyst who called Amazon worthless in 2001, and coined Amazon.toast, left Lehman Brothers shortly after. Lehman Brothers itself filed for bankruptcy in 2008. The firm that called Amazon.toast no longer exists. Pets.com. Webvan. Kozmo.com. Every company analysts said was safer than Amazon in 2001, is gone. Jeff Bezos' parents wired $300,000 of their retirement savings into their son's garage bookstore in 1994. They had no idea if they'd ever see it again. Today the $300,000 is worth over $30 billion. They didn't just fund Amazon. They funded the most valuable bet in the history of American business. MacKenzie typed the business plan in the passenger seat driving across the country. She later became one of the most significant philanthropists in American history, donating over $14 billion to charity after their divorce. The woman who typed the plan in the car, gave away more money than most countries generate in a year. Amazon.toast. That's what they called it. $2 trillion. That's what it became. The analysts were wrong. The obituaries were wrong. The business schools were wrong. Bezos bought more stock at $5.51. That's the only thing that mattered.